Hey everyone, welcome back. In the previous video, we looked at some of the ways that people are currently approaching their tattoos therapeutically and whether it's actually of any benefit. Sometimes there's logical value there. Sometimes it might just be reinforcing or enabling something that isn't actually working towards their growth or their resolve. Now, in this video, we're going to talk about what you might experience as a result of being tattooed with a therapeutic mindset and the potential of the pain. So, what can happen physically and what to expect when you're getting tattooed, especially if you've gone this far into it and you're being extremely intentional, you're bringing as much awareness and consciousness to yourself and to the process and why you're doing it. And you have someone on the other end that's doing the same, that's meeting you where you're at. There are a few things that can happen. They're not super common, but they do that you should be aware of. And one of them is having an emotional release. So you access something through the pain. The pain might intensify and allow you to reach a place that gives you access to or unlocks a particular emotional charge. There's a good book called The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Russell Van something. I'll put a link there. And it explains the body's function of capturing traumatic events within the body and carrying them through time, that the body can't tell the difference between the actual event and when it happened and a present event that's triggering that emotion or that trauma. And so from that angle, we can see that tattooing, something that's physically very traumatic, can cause a lot of pain depending on where and how long, there's variables within the process. It can be a catalyst for that unresolved trauma that exists there, or something as simple as just undigested stress to resurface and be in that space. And this is just the body's innate desire towards healing, its direction towards wanting to find balance and homeostasis. And that happens when it's in a space or in a situation that's being contained and is providing safety and providing comfort, providing understanding, providing the adequate attention. If we look at pain as well, we can see that there's the potential for it to bridge someone from their everyday experience into an elevated state, providing uncommon insights, giving them access to things that seem enlightening almost. There's a doorway through the pain that can offer revelation or rectification and reframings of different experiences. And that's a choice. So a lot of the time, when you end up in an experience where the pain is at a very high level, you're moving into a place where the pain seems excruciating or intolerable. You're then at a junction where you make a choice. And that choice can be to fight and struggle with the pain, or it can be to lean into and let go and embrace the process that you're in, usually opening up that door. So a tattoo can be reframed, and the physical pain of a tattoo can be reframed into a form of therapy or healing if you bring the adequate awareness, if you're in a well curated space, if you and the person know that that's what the intention is. Two resources that we have that speak to these points that you can access are conversations in the Tattoos with Intention podcast. There was one last year with a client of mine, Lee, who is a trained psychotherapist, and he speaks about his experiences getting his first tattoos and how they offered access to different experiences in different states and how he dealt with the pain and the process, which I think is definitely useful for anyone that's contemplating this more to listen to. There's also a podcast from way back, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, with another artist, John Osiris in America, who does tattoo vinyasa or a yogic, tantric tattoo fusion, where he talks about dermal darshan. Darshan, I think, meaning vision or insight that can be received through the experience of the pain. Another couple of quick layers that we'll go into is body placement. Obviously, the body is a really intricate map and terrain. We have the meridian systems, we have the chakra systems, we have the Chinese energetic centers like the lower and upper dantian, even physical ones like the circulatory system and the nervous system and the lymphatic system. There's all of these different systems and layers to the physical body that we're interacting with, working into when we get tattooed, and are worth considering. I know at Tattoo Pathway, we have a whole mapping topic, which goes into all of the physical and the psychological layers and implications of getting tattooed and where they land on the body and what their correlation is. It's fascinating. It's one of my favorite topics, actually. But some basic things that you can do when you're moving into your tattoo sessions is simple things like looking at where the forbidden acupuncture points are. Where's somewhere that you maybe don't want to place a needle? Where's somewhere that you do? And also, quickly, a real common psychological effect, something that shows up as a pattern time and time again that's worth considering, is tattoo shock. When we were doing surveys last year at Tattoo Pathway, some research, we found that a high number of people end up with tattoo regret, and also a lot of people experience tattoo shock. I call it DOTS, or delayed onset tattoo shock, because usually someone's very sure about what it is that they're doing or why they're doing it. And it's only on the end of the tattoo session afterwards, once they've got the physical result, that there's some type of mismatched expectation and it catches them unaware. They weren't anticipating to be going through this psychological recoil as a result of the thing that they just stepped into. And this isn't just first tattoos. This can be well down the line, but this is an important thing to look at and examine because it shows that there can definitely be an impact, an emotional or a psychological impact as a result of getting tattooed. So even if you're not approaching it therapeutically, it might open the door for some therapeutic introspection that might be necessary as a result of getting tattooed. So I've tried to do a pretty thorough account of the many dimensions and variables that cross over and overlap in the worlds of therapy and in the worlds of tattooing, how they can apply to you, and some things that you might want to consider. Obviously, we're offering this up as something that's a zero cost access point for people that are looking for this type of information. But we also have lots of resources and a really solid community that are working together during their tattoo processes in all of the different stages, unpacking stuff that they've already got and how to sort of move towards a coherent tattoo picture and story so that the thing that they're wearing and living in and that represents them is accurate and feels good over at Tattoo Pathway. So you can check that out. Like I said, we've got the podcast, which is a free resource, and we'll be putting more content up on YouTube as well. So give it a follow. There's going to be one more video, which I'm going to kind of recap everything that we've gone through in these videos and give our recommended way of engaging with tattooing so that you can receive therapeutic benefit if that's something that you want.